We now come to the main event of the evening. This is a contest of 12 rounds, 3 minutes each round, to decide the World Boxing Council Welterweight Championship of the World. Sponsored by OTV PLC. Presenting from Mexico City, the challenger, Jorge Vaca. And from Bermondsey, London, the champion, Lloyd Honeyghan. My lords, ladies and gentlemen, this match was made at 10 stone 7 pounds, and at the weigh-in today, Vaca scaled 10 stone 6 pounds 13 ounces, Honeyghan 10 stone 6 pounds 9 ounces. Your referee for this contest is Mr. Henry Ellisbrew of the United States, and your judges are Mr. Bob Lodgist of Belgium, Mr. Malcolm Boolner of Australia, Mr. Chuck Hassett of the United States. Your supervisor for the World Boxing Council is Chief Ogon Bufunmi. And the steward from the British Boxing Board of Control is its General Secretary, Mr. John Morris. Your timekeeper, Mr. Tommy Rice.
The list of credits finally over. Big night for the WBC, whose title Honeyghan holds. They're having their annual convention in London at this moment, and there are a lot of WBC officials about in this arena tonight. The last time we saw Honeyghan in action, just 2 months ago in Spain, the fight with Gene Hatcher lasted precisely 40 seconds, the fastest ever world title win. 12 rounds. And Vaca comes to London with the reputation of a man with a punch, but also a man who can be knocked out. And there's the first blow from Honeyghan, the left hook. Honeyghan, the stories all in the last few days of fragile hands and worry in the camp about those hands. A scar on the left eye of Vaca. Honeyghan switching to southpaw briefly. Big looping punches. Going in unconcerned about the punching reputation of Vaca. He's a big-looking welterweight, is the Mexican. Had trouble making the weight today, Vaca. He was a few ounces overweight at the first trial. He had to go away and get the weight off. And Vaca's come to fight. And Honeyghan being quite clever on the ropes. Taken nothing dangerous yet, a lot of them on the arms. Letting the storm blow itself out. And comes back with a good right dig downstairs. Good punch inside from Honeyghan. If Vaca's got a suspect chin, Honeyghan will surely find it out. Well, it's a lively opening round to a world title fight, that's for sure. And Vaca is no respecter of reputations. But the quality punching, so far, has come from the champion Honeyghan. Hannigan likes a man who comes to him, and he's certainly getting that. Well, that was a first round packed with interest and excitement. Well, now I'm delighted to tell you that sitting with me at ringside is the man who did so much for British heavyweight boxing the other night at Spurs Football Ground. Here he is, the big man himself, Frank Bruner. Congratulations, Frank.
Thank you very much, Harry.
That was a fine performance. I think you were pretty satisfied with the performance too, weren't you?
Glad to get that one out of the way, Harry. Very glad.
Did you think it was your best ever performance?
Considering all the pressure and everything, I think so, Harry. Yeah, most definitely.
Now, I've got another thing to congratulate you about, because today the WBC have nominated you the #1 contender in their books for the Tyson title. How do you feel about that?
Very good, Harry. Very good, thanks.
Do you think the chance of fighting Tyson is now right on next year?
I'm not too sure. I think you got to ask Mickey Duff and Terry Lawless that question, but I'll be looking forward to that fight.
Okay, Frank. Right, let's watch Mr. Hannigan.
Round 2.
Well, Honeyghan certainly lived a little dangerously in the opening round. He was so intent on getting his own punches in. He was a bit open, but he took nothing really serious. Vaca's felt the weight of his punch, and he feels it again. A right, top of the head, and again. And the Mexican most certainly wavered a bit there. He wobbled. Californian referee here. Well, I tell you something, you never get a dull fight with Honeyghan these days. He really does go for the man. Good punch. Well, ruled low. It looked about right to me, but ruled low. Honeyghan, 27, same age as Vaca. Honeyghan, 31 fights, 31 wins. And already Vaca's face beginning to show the marks of battle. He's got a few scars from previous fights, and the face already reddened, but still looking quite dangerous when he attacks. Putting everything into these early moments. Well, you couldn't ask for a better action fight than this. First 2 rounds have been really quite remarkable for action. Can they really go 12 at this pace? I don't think so. And Vaca's looking very shaky to me at the moment, but still coming back with his own big punches. This man, Honeyghan, sort of, oh, he's got a cut under the right eye. Well, that's not a dangerous place, but it's a sign of the danger that Vaca is offering. So the champion cut. Well, here's confirmation of the fine Honeyghan record. 100% professional record, 31 fights, 31 wins, 20 of them have come inside the distance. He's been a pro for 7 years. Frank, what do you think about this? That's not good news for Lloyd.
Not very good news at all, Harry. It's an exciting fight, but that ain't very good news at all with the cut eye and his hands and his mind as well, you know.
What do you think he's got worries about?
I'm
general
not too
things
sure. He
about...
says about his family and whatever, but I'm not too sure. You know, he should have left that at home and concentrate on this one. He's a very dangerous guy, this guy's fighting.
Round 3.
So with the grease smeared under his right eye, the champion Honeyghan comes out for round 3, having exposed himself a little too much to the punches of Vaca. And now it's a very pressing engagement for Honeyghan to try to get Vaca out of the way before he does any more damage. Vaca's been a pro longer than Honeyghan, since early 1978, 9 years. His brother was a Mexican welterweight champion before him, Felipe. And Honeyghan moving into punch, but taking right hands as he comes in and ignoring them, and gambling everything on out-punching Vaca. Taking huge risks now, Honeyghan. Totally gambling on knocking the man out. And he's hit him with his best and freshest punches, and he hasn't done it yet. This is going to be the survival of the fitter here between these two. Honeyghan trying to fight his way off the ropes, and he can't get off. And this tall man, Vaca, who looks altogether bigger than Honeyghan, swarming all over the champion. Honeyghan's southpaw again. Is that a sign, I wonder, of damaged hands? Leading with the right. Back to orthodox. Well, this is all about survival now between these two, even this early. Vaca slowing down. And another low punch ruled by the referee there from Honeyghan. And the Mexican comes back again. Remember, he wasn't the original opponent either. He replaced Bobby Joe Young.
And roll.
Good punches again from Honeyghan, but the Mexican takes them well. And Honeyghan finishes very professionally, right where his own stool is. Frankly, he's thrown some of his best punches. He's had a go to knock the man out, and it hasn't worked, has it?
Right, I've known Lloyd for so many years, and I've never seen him look like this in the corner before, even in his amateur fights and professional fights as well. No,
You mean cut like this?
yeah, cut, bust up like that.
Yeah. Does he look, his work, does it look a bit anxious to you, as though he's trying so hard to get rid of the man and it's not
and
working?
it's not working, yeah.
So what does he do next?
I'm not too sure, Harry. Just go out there and keep moving and hope to get a good shot over.
They're both putting so much effort into these early rounds
Right.
that you feel that one or the other is going to get very tired very quickly.
Oh, it's the other geezer.
Well, they're both taking a lot of good punches.
Lying
Mickey
about
Duff
that.
trying to talk some good advice
Right.
into the ear of Honeyghan. Thrilling world welterweight title fight here. Honeyghan in the black trunks defending. Trying to equal Jim Watt's post-war record of 4 successful world title defenses. Backing off a little bit now, trying to wait for the opportunities to throw the punch rather than mix it. Still the right hand of Vaca, dangerous. Well, I've never seen a pushover Mexican fighter ever, and this fella's certainly not one. Both gone southpaw. Now, it's very interesting, that. Bleeding as well now, as well as the cut under the right eye, which is no worse. Honeyghan's boxed an entirely different fight in this round. They've both turned southpaw, and Honeyghan has made a point of standing off and punching rather than going in all-out mixing. And it certainly paid dividends. Well, he said, what would he do next, Honeyghan? And this is what he decided to do, and maybe Mickey Duff decided for him. But a different style of boxing here, apart from turning southpaw. Vaca's gone back to the orthodox stance again. Well, Honeyghan most certainly had the better of that round. And maybe the pace is telling on the Mexican. Mexican welterweight champion for 3.5 years. Let's have a look at his record. 48 fights, 42 wins. Now you see 37 on him, he's won inside the distance, so that speaks volumes for his punch. But it's interesting that the 5 fights he's lost have all been lost inside the distance. He's never been beaten on points. And he's certainly been knocked out at least 3 times. Frank, he's a tough customer. Very tough, very dangerous, Harry. All the punches what he throws are cutting and busting up sort of punches, so Lloyd has got to be very careful in there. Why do you think they both turn southpaw? I'm not too sure. Maybe they hurt their hands, or that's their style of trying to confuse the other opponent, Harry. Very unusual to see both fighters turn. Yeah.
Second, round 5.
Training in the United States, Honeyghan has had a special left-hand glove made for him for training by the man who's looked after Mike Tyson's hands, the doctor. And of course, a few years ago, Honeyghan had a steel pin put in his left thumb, so he's had hand problems over the years. Punch from Vaca made Honeyghan back right off. Well, this is the toughest championship fight that Honeyghan's had yet, and that includes the fight in which he took the title from Don Curry. He had a difficult defense against Maurice Blocker, difficult man from the States, but it was not nearly as tough as this. And still Vaca is very dangerous. This is turning into the hardest fight Lloyd's ever had. knockdowns. Round 5. And Vaca still advancing. No matter what Honeyghan throws, the Mexican comes forward. Honeyghan's nose bleeding again. And this time the punches rain on the head of Honeyghan. He misses some, but he takes some as well. But he gets an appreciative clap from the crowd for getting out of getting out of that corner so cleverly. Good attack. Good finish to the round by Honeyghan. The best part of the whole round point came at the finish. He suddenly looked, Frank, he looked extremely efficient at the end of that round.
Very, very efficient, yeah, Harry. He got caught with a couple of right hands there, but he came back very, very well. It's a very tough fight, very good fight.
Yeah, but much harder, I think, than any of us believed it would be.
You ain't lying about that, yeah. You can never tell with the fight game, Harry.
We're going to have a look, Frank, here at the finish of the round. He put some good punches together here, Lloyd, didn't he? We'll see him in slow motion. That's a beauty.
Sharp.
And the bell. Do you feel worried at all about Lloyd's chance in this? Do you think there's a chance still that he might well lose the title in this?
There's always a chance, Harry. You know what I mean? I'm keeping my fingers crossed that, you know what I mean, he doesn't lose the title. But there's always a chance in boxing. That's what makes it so exciting when people come to watch it.
Seconds up, round 6.
And these two men who've been battling away furiously and throwing punches non-stop for 5 rounds, now near the halfway mark. Scheduled 12-rounder for the WBC title that Honeyghan holds. His other title, the IBF, the International Boxing Federation title, that is not up here. So if Honeyghan were to lose, he'd still hold that. Honeyghan, much the sharper and more accurate puncher, but at the same time, the strong man from Mexico comes wading forward. That was low. Now, that most certainly was low. There were 2 on the borderline, but that was very low indeed. And he's been given a few seconds to recover here by Mr. Ellis-Pure, the American referee. And the Mexican looks quite badly distressed. And the crowd think he's making too much of it. The referee's giving him every chance. And on they go. So there'll be a considerable number of seconds knocked off for that. And they're both boxing right foot and right fist forward again. Borderline, he got away with it, but it was just above the belt. Good right again from Honeyghan, leading with the right and punching hard with it. And there's the left, the one that might be very fragile. Good round so far for Honeyghan. Doing all the work. Vaca, for the first time, looks more concerned with keeping out of trouble than actually pressing home any attacks. It was a good round for Honeyghan, and that's one of the best rounds he's had. He pretty well dominated the whole round. and needed to, because things were beginning to get a little bit out of hand. This man was hit very low indeed in that round. Jorge Vaca comes from Guadalajara, and that's over 5,000 feet above sea level, so he probably has a lot of stamina. We can have a look now at that low punch that Lloyd threw here, and it really was very low. Yes, well, that doesn't need any explanation, Frank.
Just centre wicket, Harry. No messing around.
Yeah, well, he mustn't do too many of those or he'll get himself into trouble here. Don't want to see him disqualified.
Right,
that would be fatal.
10 seconds.
So we're past the halfway mark. Honeyghan in defence of the WBC title. First Mexican opponent he's ever met. Probably wishes he hadn't. Slips into the southpaw stance again. Interesting how men who are used to boxing orthodox can suddenly turn and apparently box just as well the other way around. Vaca has slowed down a lot and not throwing too many punches now. The fighting fury of the early rounds has calmed down. But you have a feeling there's still a lot to come in this fight, and there could be surprises in store yet. Honeyghan looking at the referee saying, was he supposed to come at me when you were trying to separate us or talk to us? And certainly Vaca went back into action a bit sharpish there. This was not such a good round for Honeyghan. He's been picked up on the end of that lead of Vaca's. Moves into another gear as Honeyghan steps the pace up, and once again Honeyghan has to work on the ropes to keep up with trouble. That was a huge effort by Vaca, and Honeyghan survives it, and Honeyghan is most certainly having one of the hardest, if not the hardest fight of his entire professional career. Would you agree with that, Frank?
Yeah,
sure, he must be. He always says
yeah.
a fellow called Cliff Gilpin gave him a terrifically hard fight at the Albert Hall, I think. But this one, I mean, it's so much more important than the pressures of that.
Yeah.
You know all about that. Well, we can look again at how Vaca finished that round, and it was impressive because he threw a lot of punches here. This might have taken a lot out of him, Frank.
Yeah.
He put a lot in here, didn't he?
Right. Got caught with quite a few, missing a lot, but he's a puncher. This guy is dangerous. He's a dangerous arm. So
would you agree with me that it takes more out of you missing than it does when you land punches?
yeah, it does at this stage of the game anyway, Harry. I should get a nickname for you. I can't keep on calling you Harry. Squaring.
Well, people who thought this might not last too long have been proved utterly wrong. Here we are in the 8th. And anybody who thought Honeyghan had some easy defences, well, you've got to hand it to him tonight because he's been put under tremendous pressure here. A tough opponent. And Honeyghan is still there, and the title is still intact. But he's got a lot to do yet to get rid of this man. Honeyghan being drawn into a battle, told to keep the punches up again. That's the 4th time. Frank beside me is urging Honeyghan to box rather than mix it. But he's being drawn into these battles. Taking too many now. And Vaca's looking very, very strong in this 8th round. Vaca is looking very ominously strong. And the better punches are coming for the Mexican now in this 8th round. The going gets tougher and tougher for the champion. And there's a crack of heads there. And the Mexican is cut above the right eye. So another dramatic turn of events here, and this might be the end, the way the referee's waving. He's got a bad cut, and the doctor's being called into the ring. Honeyghan's going over to have a look. And I think he's got a very bad cut in a very, very awkward place. That's a terrible injury, and it's all over. Oh, that is a sad ending. Now, that is the worst possible ending to a tremendous fight, because Vaca has got an absolutely appalling cut above the right eye. Now, let's see how that happened. We can show you again. This is what happened. No sign of damage on Vaca's eye. In they come, and there's a terrific clash of heads. It can only be accidental. There's no way he went in deliberately to do that. He was going in to punch, and the heads came together. And it really is a terrible cut. Frank, I think you'd agree with that. It's a very terrible cut, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's cricket, Harry. You know, you get these sort of things in boxing.
It's such a shame, though, isn't it? Because it was a terrific fight.
Very good fight.
It's a great shame for Vaca that he had a marvellous challenge like that has to end like this.
Dangerous challenge as well.
Another angle on that clash of heads. He's ducking to avoid a punch. He comes back to throw a punch.
Throw a punch underneath, heads.
And the head's cracked.
Nobody's fault.
Purely accidental.
Yeah.
Purely accidental. No question. But the referee is still talking with the judges,
I think they've got
and
some
no
rules,
announcement has been made.
Special rules they've got to do. Might call it a no contest. I hope Lloyd's won, but they might call it a no contest.
At this stage of the fight, I don't know. I thought they sometimes have a technical decision if it happens in the first 3 rounds. But that was the 8th round, and we're still waiting for the official decision. And everybody is standing around waiting. And the judge is still conferring, the referee is still conferring with judges, asking for their scorecards. They often have what they call technical decisions if a fight ends on an accidental clash of heads in the first 3 rounds under, I think, WBC rules. But after 8 rounds, I wouldn't have thought so. Anyway, we shall get an official announcement in a moment. And it might just be the judges' cards have been collected and they've been looked at, so it might just be that the referee is asking for the points to be added to come to a decision that way. The referee over on the far side. Well, that was the toughest fight I think I've ever seen Honeyghan. Well, it certainly is the toughest fight I've ever seen Honeyghan in. He was cut early on in the fight, resorted to southpaw tactics, as indeed did Vaca. Was under severe pressure in that 8th round when the clash of heads came. He really was. It was the worst round he'd suffered. The unfortunate Vaca still clutching a towel to a bad cut above the right eye. And the referee's still on the far side, still conferring. And MC Bernard Sullivan making some notes on his pad now. So he presumably is getting ready to come up with the announcement of this dramatic end to this world title fight. If the referee ruled that that was a deliberate butt, then he could, of course, have that round taken away from him. Maybe this is what is causing the delay. If they are going to add the points up, then he would instruct the judges to take that round away from Honeyghan, although looking at the 2 replays we've had, it seemed to me to be an accidental clash of heads, and I think Frank Bruno, you agreed with that?
Yeah.
Let's just take another look, Frank. I mean, let's just see where... that surely can't be. He's coming in with the left, isn't he? Trying to get in with the left.
Accidental.
His head is coming up with it at the same time. I mean, that's got to be accidental. And still, we wait for the official announcement. Crowd now beginning to get restive, as you can imagine. And now John Morris, the Secretary of the British Boxing Board of Control, is coming up into the ring to join in the discussion. Mickey Duff is there, the manager of Honeyghan. And so we're having a post-fight conference here. Mickey Duff doesn't look at all pleased with things. And I think it's going to be bad news for Honeyghan by the look on the face of Mickey Duff.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, may I explain? The contest was stopped because of an accidental clash of heads in round 8. Listen, please. The referee has ruled that whoever was in the lead at the end of round 7 is the winner. Now we're waiting for the judges to give us their results to the end of round 7. Thank you.
Well, the judges will have had their cards marked up to round 7, so I can't see what the delay can be. They're not taking 8 into consideration at all. So the points are there, and presumably they would have added them up by now, but we still wait. So whoever was in front after 7 rounds is going to win this fight. Now, my bet would be that would be Honeyghan.
Yeah,
how about
my bet as well, Harry. I'm not a betting man, but
I haven't actually kept a score. I've been
like
too
to
busy
take a five
talking
off
with
you,
you
I'll
to
bet
keep a
with you.
score. But I would... my feeling is that Honeyghan would be in front.
Referee is acting under WBC rules, ladies and gentlemen. I feel I should explain.
Well, I must say, that does surprise me. Obviously, they know their rules. Perhaps I'm confusing the rules with the WBA, but I know that there is a rule somewhere in the books that talks about this particular situation, if it happens in the first 3 rounds. But this happened in the 8th. But nonetheless, the points for the first 7 rounds count, and we still wait for those points to be announced. Well, this is really quite an astonishing ending to a world title fight. I don't ever remember a situation like this, ever. Certainly not in this country. Honeyghan really has, well, come down from the high and looking fairly depressed. A tough fight, and still doesn't know whether he's the champion still. Well, they're obviously checking and double-checking the scores. And it might be, of course, that it is close enough for the judges to keep checking. A recount. I can't remember ever a fight taking this long, the judges' scores taking this long to be computed and announced. And still discussions go on in the middle of the ring with the various managers and officials. Mike Barrett, the promoter, standing there. And of course, not only is Honeyghan's title at stake here, but also if he hasn't won this, then he hasn't equalled the post-war record of Jim Watt, who made 4 successful defences of the lightweight title.
My lords, ladies and
Here's the
gentlemen, may
decision.
I read the judges' marks. Referee Chuck Hassett awards 65 to Honeyghan, 67 to Vaca.
Well, that's 1 down to Honeyghan, 67-65.
Judge Malcolm Bullner, 67 to Honeyghan, 65 to Vaca.
1 all. It's all on the last judge.
Judge Bob Logist, 66 to Honeyghan, 67 to Vaca.
It's Vaca. Vaca has won the title from Honeyghan. Honeyghan's title is gone. After 7 rounds, the points were taken for 7 rounds, and 2 judges have decided that Vaca was the leader after 7 rounds. Not a thing I would agree with myself. Frank Bruner, what do you think about that?
The guy was coming in strong. I don't quite agree with that, because this is England and Lloyd's a champion. They should have gone his way.
But I thought he'd scored enough to be ahead.
I thought he'd done.
Never mind whether it's here or anywhere else, but I thought he'd done enough,
Yeah,
Frank.
so did I.
On his own merits.
But the low punch might have taken a point away from the judges.
No, because they only counted the first 7.
Right,
So,
yeah.
well, he did punch low as well, earlier. Right, Frank, I'm going to leave you from him. I'm going to see if I can get an interview with Lloyd.
All right.
Thanks for your help.
Well, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we have a hand for the loser, Lloyd Honeyghan.
Lloyd, that's a terrible blow to you. What do you think about that decision?
I think he won it, Harry.
Do you really?
Yeah, I think he won it. It was close. Maybe could have gone either way, but I don't know. I would have to watch the tape and then tell. I thought I was beginning to come on, but I keep it hurting my hand. Every time I throw the right hand, I stun him. And I couldn't throw it again.
Which hand was this?
My right hand. So I keep on backing off with it. I didn't want to throw it. That's why I turned southpaw. So when I hurt it, I could let it recover a bit and just flick the jab, flick the right jab, and then try and counter the left. But I was beginning to come on. But I need a rest now. I'm going to have a rest. Like I've been saying, I had a lot of problems in my mind. Maybe caught up with it tonight, because I didn't sleep too well last night, and I had an extra laying this morning.
Do you think you might have made too many defences too soon?
No, it wasn't that. I enjoy myself while I've been champion. I enjoy every moment of it. I wouldn't change it for nothing. But my hand has been playing me up rotten, and every time I hurt him, I couldn't throw it again. I had to have a rest and a rest and a rest, and I had to longer rest in between. So I don't know. Like I was saying before, I've got to wait and see and talk to Mickey after the fight. That's what I was saying before the fight, because I ain't been right up in my mind, I've been like today, I wasn't on the fight. I was too relaxed, concentrating. I wasn't concentrating. I was too relaxed, Harry, and my hand. And
we can show you that 8th round again, because it all ended on that clash of heads on the cut. Here it is again. Tell me what you remember of this.
Yeah, well, I was trying to get underneath and throw the left when I turned southpaw. You see, I was trying to look. You see, I was trying to throw it, and the clash ahead. See, I was trying to.
It was definitely accidental.
Yeah, I was trying to get underneath with it, because that's why I turned southpaw to only try and get underneath with the left and try and come over with the right. But
your opponent, the new champion's come to shake your hand.
Okay.
Jorge Vaca, the new welterweight champion of the world. He's got the most appalling cut. Now I see it close up. It's a horrible S-shaped cut right down across the eyebrow. So, Lloyd, it's been a rough old night for you, hasn't it? It really has.
Yeah, it's been a rough night, Harry, but I'll get over it. It's just one of those things. It's life, You got to be able to take the rough with the smooth and the smooth with the rough. And I don't want to make no excuse. I trained as hard as I possibly could when I was in America. And I'll give it my best shot, I don't make an excuse. And I hope he goes in and make a few defense and maybe have a return. I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't making no plans before this fight.
Give yourself time to think it over.
Yeah, because I've been having too much things in my mind, Harry, and I just want to sort them out. And like I was saying before the fight, I don't want to make no excuse.
You've taken it very bravely. You've taken it well. We're proud of you.
Well, I try to do my best, Harry, as always. And like I say, I don't want to make no excuse. The judges and the referees say he won the fight, and now I'm ex-champion, and good luck to him, you know. Maybe we can have a rematch and my hand get better. Who knows?
Lloyd, thank you very much.
Thank you, Harry.
Thanks, Lloyd. Thanks. All the best.